Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my video on the brand new monthly D&D, the Effigy Incubator, which was released today. In this video I talk about how to get to the Effigy Incubator and then I showcase the rewards from it as well. So let's get right into it. Before we start, there are two things you need to know. There is a level requirement and a quest requirement. The quest that is required to do this is Desperate Measures. You need 85 in either crafting, rune crafting, smithing, or invention. This will allow you to get the effigies of that type. So if you have 85 crafting and smithing, you can do both of those effigies if you wanted to. But if you just have something like invention, then that's the only one you can do. With the requirements covered, let's get into how it actually works then. To start this D&D, you want to speak to Mr. Modart, who's at the top of your Anachronia base camp. Speak to him about Karapak and accept the mini-quest for Sins of the Father. This is the mini-quest you need to do in order to do this distraction and diversion, and it has a tutorial as part of it. Once you've spoken to Mr. Modart, you want to go down to the lodestone and speak to the two people right next to it. Just spacebar through all the dialogue and then run over to the entrance to the volcano from Desperate Measures quest, which is just to the north. There'll be a little bit of text when you arrive there. Then you want to run up north and around to the big statue that's just above. When you get to this big statue, there'll be more text that pops up and you can skip through that again. Then interact with the statue, break the door and enter the door, and this will be the location for the distraction and diversion. If you speak to the Dragonkin here, you can do the tutorial, and the tutorial will talk you through what you have to do for the whole Effigy Incubator D&D. So if you're interested in like a step-by-step, this is how you do it in-game, you can do the tutorial. But I'm also going to tell you how to do it when actually running it properly. You start this D&D by pulling the lever on the side of the Effigy Incubator, and he'll give you a 5-minute timer. The goal is to make as many effigies as you can in this 5 minutes. What I would advise is grabbing a couple of effigy shells from the middle, as you'll probably be able to make at least 5 effigies in this time, sometimes more. So grabbing 5 shells off the bat is probably the most optimal thing to do. Then you want to gather from whichever type of resource you want the XP in. While gathering this resource, you're going to get a lot of XP in that skill. I chose runecrafting because runecrafting is pretty much the one that most people will want here in terms of XP because it's the most annoying to train. At level 99 doing this whole thing, I managed to get around 150,000 runecrafting XP, which is a huge amount of XP just for doing this D&D for 5 minutes. If you compare that to Troll Invasion, etc., it's so much better. Not only that, you actually make these effigies that you can use for XP as well, which I'll go into in a little bit. Remember, whenever an effigy does spawn, gather from that as soon as possible, as it will give you a ton of resources. These effigies, whenever they spawn, when you harvest them, you'll get more resources to make more effigies in that time frame, and they also give you more XP. From my experience and what I've seen of my friends, it's typically 1 to 2 effigy spawns in these 5 minutes. I managed to get lucky and get 2 effigy spawns, which was absolutely awesome. So once you have your resources and your effigy casings, you need 20 of the material and 1 case per effigy. You go to the repair bench, repair them, and then go and hand them into the Effigy Incubator. Karapak will hold on to the effigies and you can go back and do a couple more while waiting for those ones to be done. Then when you go back to the Effigy Incubator, you'll be able to collect the ones that Karapak was holding and put your new ones in. Just repeat this over and over again over the 5 minutes and you'll get a ton of effigies at the end and you'll get all of that experience for harvesting all the different materials. One last thing to mention, while you're gathering anything, you'll have enriched anima nuggets and stuff on the floor. You can collect those while gathering and it doesn't interrupt your gathering, it just like sucks them up. So always collect those off the floor as well, as it will give you more materials in those 5 minutes. As you can see, I ended with 14 effigies. I'm pretty sure it gave me 2 effigies every single one that I made, which meant I traded in 7. If you have any materials left over, you can hand in the materials for points, and then you can spend the points in the store. Every material you hand in is 1 point. And you can buy things like pets and more effigies with these points. It is definitely not worth farming 200 points just for an effigy, because it's just not going to give you enough XP for it to be worth that. But farming for the pets and stuff would be pretty cool. You can farm outside of that 5 minutes and you can continue to farm the materials, but you don't get much XP at all. It's literally like 20k experience an hour, which is really, really bad, obviously. But you're getting those materials in order to get the pets unlocked. I would say if you're actively gathering these, it takes about 2 hours for an effigy pet. So if you like pets, 2 hours for one of them really isn't too bad, even though it doesn't give you much XP. But yeah, I wouldn't advise buying any of the 200 point effigies because you have to charge them up, which just takes a lot of time, and I'll go into that now. So what you need to remember is I got about 150,000 runecrafting XP already. These effigies are extras. They're not that amazing, but they're a decent little extra. You have to skill with these effigies in your inventory and they work like urns. When skilling with these effigies, they fill up and you need to fill them up with 60,000 experience. And then they give you a lamp or bonus XP star, which also can be an enriched lamp or bonus XP star to give you increased XP if you are lucky. There are specific skills you need to do in order to charge up different effigies. The effigies are on screen now with their corresponding skills to fill them up. I personally got the erratic effigies, which are the runecrafting ones, which requires div, hunter, runecrafting, or farming in order to charge up. Good thing about this one is you can just pair it with your player-owned farm runs, and you're definitely going to get enough player-owned farm XP to charge up all of these effigies in a month. You can probably charge them all up with only a couple of runs at POF. Then that'll give you a nice amount of bonus experience and experience when charging them up and sending them off. For example, I done a bit of divination. I charged one up fully in the Hall of Memories, and it gave me a 17,000 experience effigy lamp. It took 60k experience to charge it up, and it gave me 17k back, which is pretty damn good. That's about 30% of the experience, which isn't bad at all. That's better than urns, and unfortunately, you cannot run effigies alongside urns. It's either urns or the effigy. That's what makes these not so good. If you could run urns and effigy and fill up both, it'd be absolutely amazing. But because it takes the spot of an urn, it's a little bit less good. But they are better than urns, like I said, so it is worth using them either way. They can also be added to your Brooch of the Gods, which is pretty cool. That'll be it for this video. Just a quick one talking about the Effigy Incubator and just, going through it all. Overall, I think it's a very good D&D because it gives you a ton of experience from doing the D&D, and those effigies are just a bonus. You don't have to fill them up for the lamps. That's a choice that you make. Just getting that 150k runecrafting experience from doing the 5-minute D&D is amazing anyway. It is a little bit of a shame that they override urns, but they're still decent. They're better than urns, so that's good. Especially if you end up getting the enriched lamps as well. There was also an update to Penguin Hide and Seek, which I'll have a separate video out tomorrow on, so watch out for that. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you're new for loads of future content all related to Runescape 3, and until next time, see ya.